Greetings to all of humanity. It's really a joy, it's a pleasure, it's an honor for me to be greeting you. And I was bringing this message of emancipation to you, pointing you to look inwardly to discover that your real identity is your divinity, and to teach you also how to understand the message of symbology. That's why I want to speak to you concerning the Soufriere volcano, spiritual symbology in my country. And the country of which I am speaking of is the country of Hiruna, better known to some as St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And Hiruna is actually the real name, and the other name comes from the European and their history. Now, the European history that was told to us was actually a lie. And that is why I want to show you the symbology of the Soufriere volcano and how it connects to your body, and how everything in this world is a reflection of that which is within. Now, the highest mountain and highest peak in my country is the Soufriere mountain, and the highest peak of your body is your head, your skull. And at the bottom of the mountain, they call it the foot of the mountain, and at the top of the mountain is where a volcano will blow the crater off, or the covering, and have its eruption. But I want you to reflect on your own body and see you have a covering at the top also, which is your crown chakra. And all the components that are in a volcano is also in your body. Now, when you understand the elements of earth, wind, water, fire, and that your spirit having a human experience, you would understand that all of the things that they refer to as natural disasters, and many people try to use them to say it's the last days and so on, that they all have to do with the elements. And all of these elements are what we use to create everything in this world. It must be either earth, wind, water, and fire, and spirit, because everything has to first be a thought, everything has to first be an idea, everything has to first be imagined. Okay? So this whole volcanic eruption is teaching us that there's a birth that takes place from above, as there's a birth that takes place from down below. So when you understand the law of correspondence, you will realize that as above, so below. As it is within, so is it without. So every volcano in the world is to teach us of the birth from above, which is the true virgin birth, the birth from the skull of man. Now, I can say that because of my experience of the birth, the virgin birth. That's why I can tell people that the greatest lie that have been ever fed to humanity is the Jesus and Mary story, when it has been interpreted to you as literal and as if it is secular history. Now, it is something that would take place within you, and you would feel that great vibration as a great earthquake, that great shaking, just as a volcano would do that. Because just as your body have different chakras, so the earth have different chakras too, because there's only one total unity that we refer to as the divine, and there's only one divine mind, and we all are connected to the one divine mind. We are all one. It's like an entire body. Your entire body is made up of billions and millions of cells, and they become tissues and so on and so on and so on. They make up the body. So to everyone. So if you have a desire in this world to achieve something, there are people who you do not even know that are going to come forward and do things on your behalf to make it possible. So when you understand this oneness, you understand how the mind really works and how everything starts from above, and you have to be in control of that which is above. Also, you understand that everywhere in the Bible where I speak about mountain, it is speaking about the top part of your body. When I speak about heaven, it's speaking about the top part of your body. And so many are trapped in hell. They're trapped below their head because they do not think for themselves. And because they do not think for themselves, they are trapped in the physical carnal realm, believing that they are human trying to be spiritual, instead of understanding that they are spirit having a human experience. That is why many of them cannot accept the fact that the Bible addresses the human mind and must be interpreted psychologically, that it is not literal, neither is it secular history, and that it was written symbolically, and it have no reference to anyone who existed thousands of years ago or to any actual event that would have taken place on earth thousands of years ago. From the beginning to the ending of the Bible, it's a great psychological drama. It all have to do with the human psyche. That's why no one can tell you anything in the Bible that was done, that wasn't forced an idea, or forced a thought, that wasn't forced imagined, that wasn't forced mental. And that is why those who are trying to teach you the Bible, they're teaching you the Bible and they're speaking, and a word is a thought expressed. So how are they going to prove me wrong by speaking? If it is literal, then they must be able to create literal wine from water. Take water and turn it into wine. I walk on literal water, then you prove that it is literal. But I'm saying to you, it's all symbology. It's all about symbols. Okay? So the volcano is to teach you of the new birth, the birth from above, the birth from the skull, the real true birth. And our ancestors, before the Europeans, they didn't know anything about Jesus. They knew that the sun was what put them to sleep, and the sun was what wake them up, and that the sun is the giver of our life. For without the sun, as in the ocean, there could be no life. There's no way a S-O-N could be the light of the world, because a S-O-N cannot exist unless there first be the S-U-N. Not too far from where I'm living here, there's a church that says Jesus Christ is the light of the world. How could Jesus Christ be the light of the world when the sun was here before Jesus, if Jesus was born 2,000 years ago? And if he's the savior of the world and it's 2,000 years ago, who was the savior of the world before 2,000 years ago? So my brother and my sisters, the Bible is the sun book, and the sun is above us, the sun is within us, and the sun is beneath us. So when you see all of these things that comes from a volcanic eruption, okay, all of these things are actually what's in the sun also, and make up the sun, okay? And all the life energies and everything that we receive is from the sun. So let us use this whole experience of what is happening in this country with the Soufriere volcano as something to remind us that if the volcano can affect us physically or psychologically, then it means that we can affect the volcano also psychologically, by the way how we think, and that everything is cause and effect. So when we look, we are seeing the effect, but there must be a cause. So everything is cause and effect. So if we suffer certain thing, like people have to evacuate, they lose their livestock and so on, all of that is effect, but you have to look at the cause. So if something can give you an effect, then there must be a cause. Therefore, if you use the reverse, you can control that thing also, because it means that you're all connected. So my brother and my sisters, I don't want to go too deep in these things because I know how most of us were brought up and what we were taught and made to believe. But there's a language of symbology, and until you understand that language of symbology, you will never understand the things that are happening in the earth, and you would believe what was taught to you through secular Christianity. There are those who are messing with nature to create an illusion for you to continue in that belief and believing that this is the last days and it's the fulfillment of prophecy. But everything is actually the fulfillment of prophecy. The money that you're working for is the fulfillment of prophecy, because someone had to first have a thought or had an idea before there could have been money. So out of the invisible comes the visible. So it means if you want to create something in this world, all you need to do is have a desire, have a dream, have a goal. And once you have that goal and you have that dream and you have that desire and you start to work towards that which you cannot see, it will manifest. It's a divine law. And once you understand that, then you will understand that you're speaking self-fulfillment prophecies in your life when you speak certain things over your life, because the power of life and death is in the tongue. So you can speak your life into being if you understand that faith means having a true understanding of how to take something from the invisible world and materialize it in the physical 3D world that you exist here as the physical world. So understanding that there's a spiritual world and a physical world. So if you control your spiritual world, you'll be able to control the physical world also. That is why you must practice meditation. That is why you must practice visualization. So if the people of this blessed island of Haruna would go into more meditation and believe in the God within themselves instead of believing in a God in the sky or believing in a God outside of themselves, then there will be more calm, there will be more love, there will be more peace, and there will be more understanding that we are all one. And there will be less ignorance, okay? Because when you understand the law of mentalism, you'll understand that it is your own thoughts that is creating your reality. It is your own thoughts that are creating your personality. Therefore, you must be in control of your thought. You must be in control of your mind, your mountain. You must control your volcano until that time of your eruption, your new birth. Bring forth new life. And that is why the whole story surrounding the rapture is something that takes place inwardly, not outwardly. And that is why the virgin birth story, as I said before, is something that takes place inwardly, not outwardly. It's all symbolic. And this is the time that the people of this island must come to understand that they've been kept in mental slavery for too long. And the only one who can save you is you. The only one who can deliver you is you. And you have to learn to believe in yourself and embrace yourself and get out of the energy of fear and vibrate on the energy of love, the energy of oneness. Our ancestors leave a lot of things for us, but many do not understand them because they believe what was fed to them by the Europeans, okay? Some of the things I will not go into them right now because I'm preparing a book concerning this whole island and its whole history, and I tell you I can rewrite the whole history because I'm awakened, okay? And I know, that you can go back in time and you can go far because time of itself is not real. It's an illusion, okay? And I know I don't want to go into certain things, you know what I mean? But I'm saying to you, it's all symbology. All of these things happened before. If you look at the 1900s, and you would see that we had a volcanic eruption in 1902, but in the 1900s we were moving out of the agricultural age into the industrial age, and many people are still trapped in the agricultural age when we would have moved on into the industrial age. And now we have left the industrial age and come into the cyber age, the age of the internet and so on. Okay, many people are still trapped in the industrial age, and we see history just keep repeating itself. Could you believe the people in 1902 saying that it's the last days and prophecy are fulfilling and Jesus is going to come? Could you imagine that? And then in 1979, I experienced a volcanic eruption also. But I never realized that all of these things are symbols. But many people are not reading these symbols. It's showing you we're moving from one age into another age. And I'm here to tell you, it is time for you to move into that age. The age of enlightenment, the age of awareness, the age of coming to your true self and your true self and freeing yourself from mental slavery. And in order to do that, my brother and my sisters, you have to free yourself from secular Christianity and learn to understand that the Bible addresses the human mind and must be interpreted psychologically. Don't be so stupid, it is not literal, neither is it secular history. That's why you will never talk to a donkey and a donkey will never talk to you. You will never find a mansion in a house. In my father's house there are many mansions. I can explain all of those parables and riddles for you and show you it's all about you. It is your spiritual autobiography that must be interpreted psychologically. So with that being said, my brother, my sister, I think that's enough for the volcano and its symbology. And if you want to know more of what I teach, you can check out the link below and check out my teaching. And if what I'm saying is resonating with you, it making sense to you, I would like to say to you, if you haven't subscribed already, to subscribe, to like, to comment, to share this video. But before I leave, I just want to remind you that this message I bring to you, that it is the single eye message of self-realization, of which Matthew 6:22 says that if your eye be single, your whole body will be full of light. And to be honest with you, had it been that a single eye would have awakened within me and my whole body was filled with light, I wouldn't have been here bringing this message to you, saying to you that when it happened to me, that I first experienced that great and mighty shaking that reverberated from the skull that was happening first of all at the base of my spine when those two lights came together. And from that great and mighty shaking, I heard the unearthly wind, that great and mighty rushing wind. And I ascended like a fiery being and burst my crown chakra, came out of my skull and became invisible and had a birth and became one with the wind. That is how I come to discover the Virgin Mary and Jesus story as the biggest lie that has been ever fed to humanity when they interpret it to you as literal and as secular history. That's why I always say to you, when you have this experience, you come to realize why it is said that you shall change from mortal to immortality in a twinkling of an eye. That twinkling of an eye is an opening of an eye in you. And that is why, my brother and my sisters, I always say to you and realize that it is the rising of the S-U-N in a S-O-N. And that it is the dawning of a new day in your life. For truly, the sun parallels the human imagination. The human imagination parallels the sun. For without the sun, there is no life and there is no light. Now without Jesus, without the sun, Jesus can't create the sun. A S-O-N can never create the S-U-N because it can't have a S-O-N unless there first be the S-U-N. Basic common sense. So the sun parallels the human imagination parallels the sun. For without the sun, there is no life and there is no light. And without the human imagination, there isn't anything made that was made. For God in man is man's imagination. The eternal body of man is his imagination, and that is God himself. There is no other God. God is not a man in the sky. God is a power in you, and you have to get on that frequency. For everything is energy, vibration, and frequency. So you must vibrate on that frequency to discover that your real identity is your divinity. And that is why, as I always say to you, that it is stated in the Bible that the sun as in the S-U-N, the Lord thy God, is a sun and a shield, and no good thing will he withhold from you. And that is in Psalms 84:11. And common sense will teach you that the sun has never withheld any good thing from humanity. For the sun is what powers all of humanity and gives all of humanity its energy. Then in Malachi chapter 4, and verses 2, you're told that the sun, as in the S-U-N, of righteousness shall arise in you. Now outside of you, in you, with healing in his wings. When it says the son of righteousness shall arise in you, it means that righteousness is not something that you attain. It's something that you discover. And that is why when the sun has risen in me, I am bringing healing to all of humanity, pointing each and every one to look inwardly and encouraging you to use your mind power, which is your solar power, your sun power, your God power, your creative power, which is actually the sexual power. Use that power to achieve your every desire. So with that being said, I want to say peace, love you all, I'm out.